Parents of Reddit, what did you swear you wouldn't do as a parent that you've done at least once? Have a messy house. My house was always messy as a kid, so I always swore that I would be the perfect homemaker with a pristine house. A combination of trying to do too much at once, being lazy and mental health issues has meant that my house ranges from messy to disgusting way too often. Oh, this is super relatable. Ugh. It's a bit of a horrible cycle when you're not feeling your best and the housework gets on top of you, and then the house is a mess which drags you down more. I used to live in a pigsty and it really got me down. I started making small changes like making the bed every day, doing the dishes before bed, etc. Gradually this built up over time and now I don't find getting the house tidy and clean too stressful. Just start with a small change. The cycle of mess is a great way to describe it. I get on top of it for a bit, then something throws me off, and it becomes a mess so quickly. I have seen it as an all or nothing situation in the past, which has made it seem like an impossible task, but now I'm making small goals for myself. Cry when my kids say something mean. I'm usually pretty good, but after a long day with a 4-year-old who just didn't want to listen, and is having a bad day himself, hearing "I don't love you" can destroy you, even though you logically know they have no clue what they're saying. Oh boy, you think they can make you cry now? Wait until they're teenagers. I wish I could upvote you 100 times. My 2-year said "I don't love you, I only love mommy" to me the other night. I was devastated and proud at the same time because of how advanced her vocabulary is at her age. I still teared up though. I get this too from my 2-year daughter. "I don't like daddy, I like mommy." My work schedule probably makes me feel a little guilty about it, because when I'm busy, I'm working 70-hour weeks, 7 days a week, gone before she wakes up, coming home when she's getting ready for bed, off during the winters though. Sit them down in front of the TV or a tablet, just to get a few fine minutes where they're occupied, and not asking for something. Thanks for the gold silver. It's actually comforting to learn I'm not alone in this. When my son was younger and woke up ridiculously early, I would take a blanket downstairs and snooze on the sofa while we watched cartoons if I was too tired. I did this too, and while I do have some guilt about it, those are some of my most precious memories of being with my children. Safe and cozy, everyone is happy. I don't think you need to feel guilty about that. It's creative parenting. You needed sleep, your kid needed entertainment, you both got it. I've turned into that parent now too. When my daughter is fussing, I'll open up the gallery on my phone, since she loves photos of herself, or I'll put on Baby Shark on YouTube. The one thing I swore I would never do was put my kid on one of those kid leashes. That lasted until the third was walking. At that point 3 kids under 4. He was a climber, runner, unbuckler and interested in absolutely everything. No way to contain him in a stroller, so the cute little teddy bear backpack leash saved my sanity. I haven't used the word never in regards to child rearing since. We have a leash kid too. She would literally run away and not care if she wasn't on it sometimes. One time I let her down out of the cart at Walmart and followed her. She never turned around to see if I was there. Made it to the other side of the store before noticing I had followed her. That's a sign of a confident child. She must feel so safe in the world. Dangerously fearless, sure, but also how nice that she just assumes she'll be okay no matter what. I promised myself that I would always answer every question that my kids ask, and that I vowed never lose my cool after the 10,000th question. I've lost my cool once and never will again. Mostly now if I get overwhelmed I'll just say "You sure do ask a lot of questions, buddy," and that usually shuts them up for a minute, so I can take a deep breath. "Why do you think?" is also a lifesaver at times. I tried that. He started whining, "Stop saying that," and then he would continue his lines of questions. Lol. I think we forget that kids are people. Sometimes they'll say, "That's a great question. I had a hard day and am super tired, have a headache, in a bad mood. Can it wait a couple minimums for me to calm down?" Usually the kid is like, "Coolio, it'll be back," or "Let's snuggle," or whatever. Okay kids, help yourselves to dinner tonight. I'm way too tired. The thing is, my 10-year-old can now make an excellent egg and bacon sandwich now, so that worked out. As long as the kid's getting their nutrients and it doesn't hurt, to teach them early how to fend for themselves, I think. And if they like cooking, it's an easy way to help out. I started make dinner sometimes for my family around that age. Yep, I've kind of stumbled across this without realizing, and it's been quite nice. What started with my post-work laziness has turned into joint family cooking effort. Honestly, I think it is good to teach kids early how to cook, do laundry, handle money, etc. There are way too many people that move out and don't have a clue how to do simple tasks on their own. Lie to my kids. You have to lie to irrational people. This is also why I lie to my parents. I'm 38. Life is an arc. You start childish and scared. I never lie. My sister, mom, cousins, pretty much every human with a child told me I would, but I don't. Had a child psychology professor tell us lying to child breeds mistrust, and then they won't trust you with the heavy stuff when it matters. I have a 10-year-old nephew and a 14-year-old niece. They will ask me things because they asked by our parents and didn't trust by our answers. It's tough leaving Disneyland when you tell your 2-year-old, if you do that again we are leaving. But leave you must, because otherwise you lied. American politics in a nutshell. Bought a minivan. In fact, I've owned a string of them over the years. My dad had a Corvette when I was little. When my brother was born, he traded it in for a minivan. That had to hurt. My dad had a pristine lifted 88 Ram Charger that I vaguely remember when I was a kid back around 95. Mom made dad trade it because she didn't like having to lug the car seats in and out of it when she wanted him to drive. Her car was a stock Suburban. Couldn't your parent have just bought another car seat? He must have liked the idea of trading into a minivan at least a little. Oh my bad, I didn't realize people were thinking that he traded it for a minivan. He traded it for a 73 VW Beetle. Let my kid have a phone before the age of 16. Broke down and did it at age 12 once she started doing things after school and going to sleepovers. Had to make some adjustments along the way, but it hasn't been a bad thing. My soul has bet me a $1,000 that my kid will have one before 16 after I said no way. I'm totally going to owe. I made her agree to written terms and conditions so that if I take it away for something she couldn't say that's not fair. Sounds ridiculous, but it was necessary after a while, and it's worked. Times have changed, it's kind of a necessity to some extent. I bought my own smartphone when I was a senior in high school, and I bought my sister hers when she entered 7th grade. When leaving and trying to get my son to come with me, bye. Never had an award or nearly this many upvotes. Glad to know I'm not the only one who made this promise without the ability to keep it. I tried this with my 3-year-old. All I get is a shrug and a half-assed bye as he goes back to what he was doing. My son is a bit older, but I can't tell you how many times I hear, "Can't you just leave me here?" Lol, same. My 4-year-old is like, "Why do I have to go with you? Because you can't stay here by yourself, why not?" There is no deeper rabbit hole than legitimately trying to answer the endless why or why not from a 4-year-old. That kid is going places when he's older, probably very remote places. Calling my kids each other's names. Eventually I just go with "you know who you are." Always wondered why my parents did that. Now as a parent, with life so stressful and fast, I fully see why. I'm 23 and my parents still do that. My mom would often call us the dogs' names before our own, lol. Yeah, my mom will go through the list of children excluding your own, grandchildren, pets of her children, because she has none, then to your name. I enjoy listening to her scramble to get to my name. My mom would do the same thing. I jokingly wore a name tag for a while and it still didn't work, lol. My mom calls my niece by my name all the time. Count to get my toddler to do something. Yesterday I told him it would only take him 10 seconds to pick up his toys. Then I said watch. 1, 2, 3, etc. He hurriedly put them away. Then I realized I was a grown-ass man counting to 10 out loud like an idiot, which I swore to never do. It wasn't quite the same as a "if you don't do it by the time I count to 3" thing, because I was doing it encouragingly, but I still felt asinine. You're looking at it the wrong way. Make it competitive. I time my daughter and encourage her to beat her previous time. My kid responded with 4, 5, 6. Thought we were counting. Put my kids to bed when it's still light outside. I remember being put to bed during the summer and still being able to hear kids playing outside and just being so mad about that. Now 8:00 rolls around and my kids are mad that they're being put to bed when the sun is still up because they've been going full force since 6 AM and I haven't had a break all day from small humans asking me for things. With younger ones, blackout curtains are great for this. My 3-year-old still thinks, because it's dark in his room, that it must be dark outside. So what you're saying is put your kids in the cupboard under the stairs? Careful, they might turn out to be wizards. I didn't think I would be so deceptive, but sometimes it's like negotiating with a terrorist. Here ya go mamas. I had a long road trip to go on, 0.13 hours to their cousin's house in Oregon. I told them there would be no fighting, or we weren't going. Kids know that's an idle threat. I knew they were going to squabble and act up, and I was flying solo, so I got them packed up, and we started out. Not 5 minutes down the road and it started. Has not sharing. That's it, I told you not to fight. Got home, marched them to their rooms. A week later we left, and wow, not a peep. We weren't going that week anyway. My evil plan worked. You're welcome. My parents had me later in life. My mom was 40, dad was 34. I swore I would never be an older parent. I had all sorts of reasons why, which I've ultimately realized were nonsense. Anyway, my wife and I are expecting our second child later this year. Our first will be 10 when the second is born, and I'll be 38, and I couldn't be more excited. I had young parents and liked it, so I wanted to have kids on the earlier side. Not 20 like them, but maybe 25. Definitely by 30. Well, I'm 29 now, and if the money isn't there, put my child down for a nap, because I myself was tired. So that's why they make us sleep in the afternoon. Bedtime when they were little was 8 PM, but sometimes I'd have a day that was extra stressful and would need some extra downtime, so I'd tell them 8 o'clock, it's time for bed at 7. When they started being able to tell time, I would even change the clocks when I needed that extra hour of peace. Yeah, my guy's 18 months and close to transitioning to 1 nap per day, but we are fighting that. Mommy needs your nap time, precious.